Hi Brollies, Marvin here from TechBroll.com, where we do unboxings, reviews, and sexy B-rolls. And today, after releasing my unboxing and first impressions of the Realme 6 Pro, we're going to take a look at the last remaining model out of the 6 series lineup. I'm talking about the Realme 6. Now, the Realme 6 is positioned between the Realme 6i and the Realme 6 Pro, and it's quite interesting to see how the Realme 6 stacks up against its brothers. But for now, let's take a quick tour and let me give you a first look at the Realme 6. With that being said, let's get into it. Alright guys, so right here we have the typical packaging for the Realme 6 with this patented yellow box, and at the back we have its key features, which at least here looks the same with the 6 Pro, except for the processor, as this one features the MediaTek Helio G90 while the 6 Pro uses the Snapdragon 720G. Now what we have here is the Comet White variant with the flagship storage of 128GB and 8GB of RAM. So let's see what comes in the package. Alright, so inside the box, as always, we have another accessory box right here, and inside it we have a couple of paperwork and a free jelly case, which is always appreciated. Next, we have the Realme 6 smartphone itself, but as usual, let's place it on the side and see what else we have inside the package. So underneath this paper cover, we have the massive 30-watt power brick with a nice yellow accent inside the USB Type-A port, and of course we also have the same yellow accent on the charging cable, which is USB Type-C by the way. Now I almost forgot, but unlike the 6 Pro, which has the SIM ejector pin on a separate packaging, the SIM ejector pin of the Realme 6 is inside a small accessory box. And that's about it guys for our unboxing, and now let's proceed with my first impressions of the Realme 6. Now, like with the Realme 6 Pro unboxing video, we're going to focus on the design, specifications, some benchmarks, and sample photos for you guys. Alright, so right here we have the Realme 6, and in front we have the 6.5-inch display with a full HD plus resolution of 2400 by 1080. It also has a pixel density of 405 ppi, and with a screen-to-body ratio of 90.5%, the bezels are relatively thin all around, including the bottom chin. It also features the punch hole design for the 16-megapixel selfie camera on the upper left corner, and on the top center we have the earpiece hidden on the side. Overall, in terms of the display, I appreciate the fact that it has thin bezels and rounded corners, and with decent resolution and pixel density. Now looking at the top, we don't have anything here, and then at the bottom we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, the microphone, USB Type-C port, and a single downward firing speaker. Flipping it on the left side, we have the SIM card tray that supports dual nano SIM cards as well as a micro SD card slot. We also have here the volume rocker, and then on the other side, we have the power button that also doubles as the side-mounted fingerprint reader, and as you can see, the sides have the subtle chamfered edges that give the design more element, and it also helps with the grip too. Now looking at the back, as we typically see with Realme phones, we have here the AI quad camera setup that features a 64-megapixel main camera, an 8-megapixel wide-angle lens, a 2-megapixel portrait lens, and a 2-megapixel macro lens. We also have here a small flash, and as usual, a Realme logo on the left corner. Now the design of the Realme 6, particularly with this Comet White variant, is really stunning, with this sort of pearl white shine in combination of the Comet design that splits the backside in half and gives it a kinda light ray effect and reacts to both lighting and different angles. And if I have to choose a phone to give to my wife as a gift, I think this design would be perfect, and in fact, I'm really going to give this to her after the review. But yeah, overall, in terms of the design and construction, I really like this Comet White variant, and even though it is glossy, you won't even recognize the fingerprints here. And lastly, the silver sides also complement well with the Comet White design, giving it a sleek and premium look. Now, as for the user interface, like with any recently released Realme smartphones, the Realme 6 features the Realme UI version 1 based on Android 10, and I personally like this as it is kinda close to the stock Android experience, and though it has some pre-installed apps, it is just a few, and overall, I honestly feel that the Realme UI is one of the lightest skin that I've experienced when it comes to Android devices, and with decent specifications, browsing through the user interface is like a breeze, especially with our out-of-the-box experience here. Now, speaking of specifications, the Realme 6 actually packs some decent hardware, starting with the MediaTek Helio G90 chipset and a Mali G76 GPU. And for the particular variant that we have right here, we have a ton of storage of 128GB and a substantial 8GB of RAM that is quite plenty for multitasking and gaming. It also features a 90Hz refresh rate display, which is awesome for both browsing the user interface and for applications that supports it. Aside from that, it also features the modern USB Type-C interface partnered with a quick charge 30-watt power brick. I also like the hybrid power button and fingerprint sensor, and it's also quite snappy, accurate, and easier to reach, which is really awesome. But like I always say when it comes to Realme phones, I'm not a fan of the position of the buttons, as you can accidentally press them when placing the phone sideways. However, I realized that when you put a jelly case on this, it's not an issue anymore, so there's that. Now I'll pop the complete specifications on the screen so that you can check it out. Now, even though this is just an unboxing and first impressions video, let's do a quick Antutu benchmark so that we can have an idea about the score of the Realme 6 with the MediaTek Helio G90 and the Mali G76 GPU. And as you can see, the Realme 6 was able to score a whopping 289,724 in Antutu with a good balance score between the processor and the GPU. And as usual, as per my initial gaming test on Asphalt 9, the performance of the Realme 6 is also quite smooth, and like I said on my unboxing of the Realme 6 Pro, I'm also going to focus on gaming performance in multiple titles and in-depth camera tests for both this Realme 6 and the Realme 6 Pro. And I'll probably make a comparison video at some point in the future, but let me know in the comments below if you would be interested in that. And lastly, before we finish this video, here are some sample photos for you guys. As you can see, the photos coming from both the back cameras and the selfie camera are pretty decent, and I appreciate that the HDR mode actually works as you can see here, and the edge detection for the portrait mode also works properly with super minor imperfections, unlike most smartphones that I've tried before. Let me know in the comments below what you want me to test when it comes to the cameras of the Realme 6 and the Realme 6 Pro as well. And there you have it guys, thank you for watching. Huge thanks to Realme for sending me an early sample of the Realme 6 and 6 Pro so that I can share with you guys my initial thoughts and get you excited for the full reviews of these awesome phones. Now, Realme will be having a live stream event to launch this phone on May 27 at 12 noon on Realme's Facebook page, so make sure to place that on your calendar. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you like this, and see you on the full review. Have a great day guys, you're awesome.